Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Derrigan. Alongside me, as always, is the PC muscle race himself, LeRon Dawkins.
What's poppin'?
Hey, LeRon, how are you?
I'm pretty good, Corey. How about you?
Great. LeRon called me this weekend.
Yeah,
That was exciting.
I need some technical advice from somebody.
Whoa. Technical is that's a strong word.
No. You help me out immensely. Like, I mean, now I actually have my own domain, and I'm working on building a website.
Look at you.
Nice.
Look at you.
I know. I put my big boy pants on this weekend, or at least
Yeah.
Corey helped me put my big boy pants on.
Yeah. Speaking of big boy pants, also here's mad pharmacist herself, Stephanie Klimov.
I do like wearing big boy pants, though, so it's not inaccurate. Many would say that I wear big boy pants in many of the relationships that I have.
Yeah, that's fair. You
What's
you
up?
should
No,
though.
And actually, one more big boy pants reference. I turned an age yesterday because it was my birthday, so I'm
Yay!
wearing
Happy
big boy
birthday,
pants.
Stephanie!
Do the damn thing.
Congratulations, another year around the sun. You got rewarded.
Can't wait to see
Speak.
what this year. Oh, sorry, brings me. That's it.
Good fortune and friendship. Speaking of friendship and good fortune, also here's PK Power Pat Klein.
I would take, and speaking of your reward, here's PK Power Pat Klein.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Would you like your birthday song now or later?
Oh, geez. Depends on where those big boy pants are at.
Are you doing the Marilyn Monroe version?
Fuck yeah, I
Yeah.
am.
Jesus Christ.
Happy birthday, Mrs. President.
Oh my gosh.
If only.
Oh boy. All right. Let's it's been a week already, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. This week has been
has.
so busy. I just sometimes want to lay underneath a bus and see play the roulette game and see what happens. It's okay though. It's okay. I'm
Not that destitute.
well,
My boyfriend is in there screaming at freaking. He's playing banjo and kazooie too on NSO, and
wow.
he is in there. He is in there. It sounds like he's reliving Vietnam. And my door is closed. That's how loud he is right now.
Jeez. My gosh. I don't even know what to say to that. You know what? I do know what to say. I say this is the Boss Rush Podcast. You can support us over on Patreon, patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. For those of you who do, thank you for your support. And for those of you who don't, that's okay. You can subscribe at a tier that's right for you that grants you perks like access to the pre-shows, voting rights, spoiler casts, video game book club early, all kinds of stuff. As always, though, your viewership and listenership are enough for us. If you listen to us on podcast services, leave us a rating and a nice review. If you watch on YouTube, which a lot of you seem to do recently, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, ask your questions, look for the thread there. And thanks for joining the YouTube people. You can find all of our content on bossrush.net, including our
YouTube
daily banters, features, listicles, reviews, and more. I'm telling you, man. Drugs are good. Sometimes I have no idea what I'm saying, but it's fine. You know what? I used to listen to podcasts all the time, and the next episode, people would be like, I don't even remember what I said last week. And I'm like, how could you not remember what you said? And then
I'm exactly like that.
Then you start podcasting, and you're like, oh, I get it. Halfway through this podcast, I'll forget what I said at the top of the show. I'll probably repeat myself 3 or 4 times. It's fine.
Some days I legit wonder if I repeated myself word for word, like from a previous episode when we get in like these discussion pieces sometimes.
Yeah.
By the way, like I'm keeping my camera and my mic open, because like I've been heckling my boyfriend through text messages. So if he comes to here and snatches me, I want everyone to see it.
Yeah. That's good TV right there. Speaking of,
y'all are witnesses, and I need y'all to call 911.
oh gosh,
Corey,
help!
Corey, you and Stephanie both have my address, so y'all know where to send the cops.
Jeez, man. Speaking of 911, we all have cool content somewhere in the pipeline. Maybe. Pat, you got anything cool coming up?
I mean, we now know what the January book club is.
We sure do.
It is going to be Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom.
Oh, okay.
Voted by everyone inside and outside the Boss Rush community.
Oh, it was unanimous?
Well, I mean, it got the most
There was no
votes.
split vote? There was no split vote? Oh, it got the most votes. Okay.
It got the most votes.
When you say voted by everybody, I'm usually meaning it was a sweep.
It used to be just Patreon only.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
we're kind of reworking the tiers for 2025, and we're kind of removing the tier that nobody really uses because it just doesn't make sense for us to have it. So, which was the community interaction tier. Nobody was using it. Nobody was utilizing it. So we're just kind of going to make those things public, and which makes sense, I guess, for us.
Yep. And now, we can even have the benefit of putting games that might have a little bit of a longer play time, because now we have basically 2.5 months to play something and get ready for it. So,
yeah,
it's cool. It works.
It does work. It does work. Nobody wanted Indiana Jones except for me.
Only 22% of the vote wanted Indiana Jones.
Yeah, well, 22% is not good enough, Pat.
No, it's not.
You know what is good enough? Other content coming up. Stephanie, you got anything coming up? Any cool interviews?
No, I'm kind of in an in-between period. Check in with me next week. I plan to reach out to a few people.
I won't be here next week.
What?
Yes, I'll have the reins.
Yeah, LeRon's hosting. I'm taking next week off of all podcasts.
Bend everybody to my will.
That's fair. That's fine. They all like you anyway. LeRon, you got anything cool coming up besides taking power?
No, I mean that's the coolest thing that's going to happen to me in the next week.
Well, I have a couple interviews that I'm scheduling and rescheduling. We were gonna interview Finish Line Games tomorrow, but they have a deadline to meet, and they're kind of, I don't want to say they're behind, but they need to meet that deadline. So we're gonna do it sometime in the first or second week of December.
I believe the industry calls that crunch time.
No, it's not crunch time. They just need to meet a deadline. That's fine. We all have deadlines for work sometimes, maybe. So that's coming, and then I'm in touch with a couple others that from PAX meetings, but we'll announce that when there's something to announce. But I am excited for some of them. So but that's it. That's all we got. It's coming up. I've been prepping the bossies. That'll be that's the new announcement. I've been
With my
making
help.
Yes, Stephanie has started the doc. I have started the asset preparation. Man, I am not falling into the trap of last year. So
What was the trap?
It took way longer than I anticipated to edit it all together, and then part of it looked like crap, and it was a good first trial run, but I want it to look, last year it was good. This year I want it to be great. Okay?
I'll be right back.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna leave camera on. I'm gonna leave camera on and mic
Oh,
open.
jeez, here we go. I want to get
wearing
more people
pants
involved
there,
too.
LeRon.
I hope he is. I want to get more people involved, like Roger and
yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We should get
Matt
guests.
Storm and just a couple people here and there sprinkled into each category, and see if they want to do a spot for us and advertise their podcast while they're doing it. I think that'd be cool. So get David from Tales from the Backlog in here, and
Yes,
Jacob McCourt, Trivia Mastermind, and a couple other people. I have a list. We'll see. We'll see if they want to. That's the big thing, is if they want to. But also, by the time you hear this, I shouldn't say new. I should say refreshed store designs with cleaned up logos and
Ooh.
new heritage designs and new kind of retro designs, which I'm excited for. And
We should get an ugly
Is
sweater.
it live now?
no,
Damn
it
it.
will be. It will be by Monday,
Okay.
maybe. Yeah.
Can we get an ugly sweater?
No, I'm not. I
Boss
could,
Rush
but it's
ugly
like,
sweater, yes. And I'll have Corey's face on it.
Mm-hmm.
oh wow, that hurts.
It's gonna be a
She
pixelated
basically just
face
called
with a
me ugly.
backwards cap.
Oh.
It could have 4 pixelated faces for each of us.
That's even better.
I know.
Come back, Corey. I was just being silly.
Maybe I will be on next week.
That means the podcast is
Hey.
mine.
Oh man. Anyways, I'm kind of trying to do some stuff, and the refreshed PAL block stuff will be up, and yeah, we're doing the things, right? So join us. Speaking of joining us, a lot of you have joined us with questions. You can join the Discord. You can look for the thread on YouTube, or write in on Patreon, or you can write into us on Blue Sky now, and X/Twitter if you're not shadow banned by the current owner, and we'll answer your question. I have some ideas I'm going to throw by you guys after the show, though, about questions, since we've been getting so many, but we'll talk about that later. But Matt Storm wrote in from the Fun and Games podcast. You should go listen to that.
Hey.
They ask, what game do you know you aren't going to play this year but wish you had time to?
Gotta go first.
Yeah, LeRon, you can go first.
Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake.
Hmm.
I want to play it because funny thing, Dragon Quest 3 isn't Dragon Quest 3 like the original Dragon Warrior game for the NES?
No.
It's not.
No, Dragon
Oh.
Warrior and Dragon Quest. Dragon Warrior is just Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Those two games
Never-
are coming out next year. 1 and
Never
2 are
mind.
coming out
Never
next year.
mind. Killed my nostalgia. But anyway, like I just don't have time to invest in RPG. Just like Metaphor, like I turned it on, but I'm not gonna play that game this year. That's gonna be one of those games when I'm traveling.
Yeah.
That is actually the perfect game to play this year because of its political influences. You're literally on a road trip trying to gain influence to become the king of the land.
I am the king of the land.
I'm already in the middle of like some media, like that has political ramifications. I'm watching the second season of Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, and man, it is wild how anime series from 2004 is calling some of this bullshit we're seeing right now.
Yeah. Well,
An anime series, not like a drama, like a live action drama or some shit, anime.
Well, sometimes anime has strong messages,
Oh yeah, I know.
I watch Pokemon. Friendship is powerful.
Oh my god, watch Akira.
I'm just saying, if we lived in wall cities and giant humans start eating us, it's over.
It's
sorry.
over.
It'd be awesome. Just make it quick. Just bite my head off first. I don't want to feel it.
Jeez, okay. Let's
Pat, what games are you not playing this year that you want to?
For me, I think it's Star Wars Outlaws. Like, I have it on my system, and I want to play it, but it's like I have so many other long games I'm playing that I do not have time to like get a 6th long game in there right now.
Yeah, that's that was my pick too, is Star Wars Outlaws. I want to. I think that game is like right up my alley. It's a Ubisoft game made by the people who made The Division. I was waiting for that update to come out, and then I got sucked into like 3 other things, and now I'm just not gonna have time to play it. That they took out that required stealth stuff apparently. So I don't know, it's on the list. I want to really bad, but Stephanie, what about you?
I have to start picking and choosing because 2024 started off as my backlog year, and that just shot itself in the foot a couple months in. And I've been relatively keeping up to speed until the last few months. For example, I already backed up where I got Visions of Mana that I have not started yet, and a bunch of other things. So now that I have to pick and choose what games I'll be playing for the last 2 months of the year, I'm still playing Gory Cuddly Carnage. So I usually pick based off of my platform, right? So on my Nintendo Switch, I'm currently trying to finish Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. After that, what Nintendo Switch game will I be playing? So I'm choosing to play the Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake
Ooh.
instead of the Mario and Luigi Brothership that I picked up because I haven't started it yet. So I have to pick between the two. I haven't really played a good like a long, solid RPG, and I think that's going to be the Switch game I'll ride out for the rest of the year. No offense to Mario and Luigi, I just feel like that's something I can pick up and play anytime. And then on PlayStation, I hate to say it, I might be, and because I want to play Dragon Quest 3, I think I might have to push off Visions of Mana to next year. So,
I
a month and a half left.
I know that's too many RPGs for you. I get it.
Yeah. It's not like I'll never play it. It's just it's gonna
Mhm.
be a 2025 game
I
for
will
me.
say you will probably enjoy it though.
But
The
I can't wait.
colors.
Pretty colors.
Oh, so pretty colors.
I just I would just like to finish a game that came out this year, first of all.
I did finish one game that came out this year.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
It was technically a remake of an old game, but I mean, I finished it.
No,
yeah.
you finished 2 games. You did Tekken 8 as well.
Yeah, I can say that because I did actually play the original the campaign mode or whatever they want to call that shit. I have not played the DLC, the new stuff that was added because they added like three stories
That's
to it.
fine. You beat the main game though. So
Yeah.
2 games there,
That
LeRon.
and Mario versus Donkey Kong,
Oh, 3 games, LeRon.
Look at you. Look
Yeah.
at you.
Wait, what was it? What was the other game?
I'm assuming Dead Space.
Wait, was that this year?
I thought that was last. I don't know. There's too many
What's the
games,
last
man.
Didn't
year?
you beat it again this year?
Yeah, technically I beat it again this year. Oh, we can do that? Then I got a few. There's a bunch of Nintendo NES games I need to claim.
Yeah.
Like Mega Man 2 and 3 and Bionic Commando.
I feel like in terms of just playing games this year, I really dropped the ball of what I wanted to do this year. I just really I don't know, dropped the ball. I think after PAX East, and I really had a feel of what our team really is and what we're doing as a whole unit. Everything, my whole perspective on everything changed, and I don't know. I feel like I just really dropped the ball on things, but that's okay. There's
should give you-
always next year, as the saying goes, correct?
We will give you a
Yeah, and
palate
in the
cleanser.
words
Yakuza.
What are you saying, Stephanie?
I was gonna say, just to quote a phrase from The Office, ball droppings can be quite beautiful. Okay.
Yeah. Scary time.
Anyway.
Anyways, Christian S writes in via Blue Sky. What's one of your favorite individual levels or areas in a game?
I'll go ahead and start this one off.
Yes, please
You
do.
know what? I like snow levels in video games. Most of the time, there are sometimes the snow levels can be bleak and haunting, almost hostile. But then there are other times, especially more in the Nintendo games, where they're like Christmas towns, where you got little glittery lights on the trees and soft snow and, dancing penguins.
I don't know if you're a penguin in Mario 64. That's pretty horrifying too.
It is.
You
That's why they can be bleak too.
afraid to fall off. Some mustachioed, red-hatted man is going to come in and throw you off the cliff.
No,
Um,
that good call out because one of mine, and I'm only saying that just to piggyback off of that, and um, I was gonna say the Snow Peak ruins in Twilight Princess.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Pretty neat level.
what else?
well, I would. It's hard in certain games, like for Destiny, an example, because you just kind of go to these planets and these hub worlds, and then they kind of form these kind of stories in these hub worlds, right? But I do want to say that the level design or the world design in those games are very well done. Like the Deepstone Crypt raid, when you go up to the space station and you're just standing on the space station and it's quiet, you can't hear your guns fire, you can't hear you walking, you just hear like the music, and you look down and you just see Earth, like just Earth from this space station, and it's like this really amazing shot. And like, yeah, we've kind of all seen that before in pictures from like NASA and stuff, right? But it's just like it's a really cool moment in that game. Um, so I like stuff like that, like things that give you like really cool moments in a world.
Gosh, you should try out Dragon Age. I swear, every time you turn around the corner, it's like, whoa! I'm looking at another cool, like just scenery.
Yeah, well, that's another game too, right? That had that game was supposed to be like this big kind of multiplayer game as a service, and then obviously after the lack of success from Anthem, we'll say, they kind of pivoted, right? And
Mm-hmm.
but they had already built the world, so like they kind of utilized that multiplayer world, and those types of sprawling worlds kind of create these really cool sceneries and just places to go. And I'm glad that I'm glad that game has found positive reception. I know rumors are that didn't sell very well, but I'm glad it
For the
got
new
positive
Dragon Age?
reception. Yeah,
Mm.
Mm,
but
that's another game that I am going to play, but I just don't think I'll make it this year.
mhm, yeah,
Darn. Maybe it'll be on a Black Friday sale. I don't know.
It's
maybe,
EA. It will be.
yeah. LeRon, what about
Hmm.
you? The Ishimura. It's,
Oh,
it's a
too soon.
ooh, sorry.
Too soon. Jeez.
Oh, sorry.
Um, I'm actually racking my brain on this one because like I feel like this is a very like broad question. Mm,
Well, if you need another minute or two, I can throw out a few more of mine.
okay.
Um, when I think of the word levels, and I know it's more than just levels for the question, but I think of like the older games that have more defined areas. And what comes to mind is some good old N64 classics that are just branded into my brain. Venom, the final level in Star Fox 64, is incredibly memorable and a lot of fun. It's challenging, and depending on how you play out the game, some pretty interesting, heartfelt story points come from it. And then Donkey Kong 64. I'm like an oddball that actually liked Donkey Kong 64. I like Frantic Factory. It's very mechanical, and you go around. And then I just really like the final boss too. It's like a Jack in the Box, this
Mm-hmm.
like mechanical, crazy Jack in the Box. It was such a fun boss fight.
Whoa,
That just gave me not just whoa,
Mm-hmm.
chills.
I'm gonna
It's
have nightmares later.
fairly accurate. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So those two are some levels that I just will always kind of remember. And as I mentioned before, the Snow Peak ruins from Twilight Princess for its atmosphere and non-traditional temple, quote unquote, since it's in like a broken down house.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's a good. Twilight Princess has some really unique areas
Oh,
in
Arbiter's
general.
Grounds too. Gotta give
Hmm.
Arbiter's Grounds kudos.
Yeah, LeRon, you look puzzled.
Still can't figure it out, LeRon.
Hmm.
I mean, I want to thank Stephanie for being a little more specific because Mass Effect 2, Lair of the Shadow Broker.
Ooh, yeah, love that.
Yeah, like that was unique. Plus the fact that you only could have one other squad member. That other squad member was Liara. So like you actually had there was actually a bit of a puzzle element to it because like there are certain times that you need Liara to do stuff that while you were doing other things and stuff like that. So I like the
Mhm.
design of that, and I kind of wish Mass Effect 3 had something like that. Well, technically it did with the Citadel. With the Citadel DLC, which
Yeah.
was fucking fun as hell, you know. But the Citadel is like a whole big thing, you know. But actually the Omega DLC in Mass Effect 3. Because like you actually got to see like the actual like the real true underbelly of Omega during
Yeah.
that. And plus you find out that that home chick was it Saren's apprentice? She was Saren's apprentice at one point, but before he like lost his mind.
Hmm. Man, I don't know. I don't remember. I would.
It's been a while, and I need to go. I need to get back to my playthrough of the Legendary Edition.
Yeah, I would. That's another game on my list that I just would like to play through. Um, Next year. I'll add it to the list, the long list of games that I would like to play next year. Uh, Anyways, good times, good levels, good job, everybody. Our last question of the evening is from the one true James via Discord. Now, this is kind of a very specific question. I don't know if everybody can answer it, but he asked, with the 1.0 release of Dungeons of Blood and Dream, I am thinking about dungeon crawlers. What do you look for in a great dungeon crawler? Do you want more action or RPG elements? Do you want games to lean more into the swordplay or outrageous magic builds? Man, when I think dungeon crawler, I think of those Persona games on DS or 3DS or whatever the Persona Q games.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I
Yeah,
think of
no,
as dungeon
that's a
crawler.
dungeon crawler.
Yeah,
Etron's Odyssey could be considered dungeon crawler. I
yeah.
might even say Diablo could somewhat be a dungeon crawler. Like, just it has lots of dungeons that you can crawl in. Um, for me, I would consider I like my dungeons a little more actiony. Um, I have done plenty of mystery dungeons, and things I don't like is resource management in those games. So I just prefer being able to explore and fight my way through without having to stop. It needs to be a faster paced dungeon crawler, if you get what I mean. I don't like the slow, literally dungeon crawler.
Mhm.
I like good
LeRon, what about
stories
you?
though.
I prefer my dungeon crawler stuff to be more actiony, you know. It's good if it has spectacular like magic effects and stuff like that, you know. But I like it more. Uh, I mean, I think I've explained this before. Like RPG games really like you know like bore me super fast and stuff like that. I don't know. I can't think of a besides Mass Effect, and that's and Mass Effect, I kind of give that like like a long like leash. Uh, I feel like most RPG, if for the type of gamer I am now, most RPGs progress slowly. You know, so like I prefer games that are more of an action element. I think this is honestly why like you know I love Monster Hunter so much at this point. You know, because Monster Hunter, when you play the original Monster Hunter game, like it was a game that was supposed to be an RPG. It was touted by Capcom as an action RPG, but you know, like by the time we got now to like Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Wilds and Rise and Sunbreak and all that stuff, like it is not an RPG. Not at all. It's not at all. It's just an action game, you know, and stuff like that. No, but it has those roots that make it feel like it's an RPG and stuff like that. So you know,
Mhm.
more action, you know. More action and you know you know like pretty balanced with story.
Stephanie, what about you?
I feel really badly this whole podcast, but I don't feel like I have too much to add to that because I don't play a lot of dungeon crawlers. It's not really my
Mhm.
genre. I think this is a dungeon crawler. I did buy a physical copy of Myth Force that I would like to try out, but a lot of
You
games
played
this year,
Hades,
so
right?
A little bit, yeah. Does that count? Because I just think of it as just roguelike.
It's a roguelike dungeon crawler.
Okay. I mean,
Roguelites and dungeon crawlers tend to mix.
okay. I mean, it was all right, and I'm not saying as a knock to Hades because it is truly like beautiful and wonderfully made game, but it still generally is not a type of game that I gravitate towards or play for very long. So, if I were to be drawn to a dungeon crawler, maybe action, but also I think immersion would be important to me. So if there's a lot of details, lore, things to look at, read, collect, something to kind of really suck me in, would be kind of the way for me to enjoy a good dungeon crawler.
Yeah, for me, I guess I don't really play a lot of dungeon crawlers. I don't even like. I think those Persona games are the last ones I played, and I didn't really play a lot of them. So those were just the first ones that came to mind. I don't know if like, yeah, I don't really know if I have an answer for this either. 'Cause I'm not a Diablo person. When I think of dungeons, the first things that come to mind are the Zelda dungeons. Like those are the first things that come to mind when I hear the word dungeon. Um, so I don't think I have anything to add, so I'm not gonna try. But not that they're bad games, they're just I don't know if they're for me or not. So, but that's all of our questions. There were a couple more, but I can't seem to find them. So if I do, answer them next week, maybe if I remember. But please continue to write in, join the Discord, leave them on YouTube, wherever you want to write us. You do that. Speaking of writing, let's get into a segment we haven't done in a little bit because of timing and just other things going on. But Boss Rush Banter of the Week. This one is by Josh Martinez, who you will hear on some expansion pass episodes coming up soon on Patreon if you're a patron. With Ed, they talk about wrestling N64 wrestling games and some other stuff. So if you want to listen to that for just $1, you can go over there and hear that at some point soon. His banter was Pokemon Gen 2's battle with Red is still one of the gaming's most iconic fights. So for those who don't know, Silver and Gold, you fight the protagonist from Red and Blue in those games, and that I would say is kind of like the beginning of the surprise of that game. Right back then, you fight Red, and then you go into the entire kind of first game again, which is neat. Spoilers, I guess. But my question to you all is, what are some of gaming's most iconic moments to us personally? They don't have to be boss fights. They can be, but they don't have to be. There are several iconic moments that come to mind for me, including a Pokemon one of choosing your first Pokemon. It doesn't matter which game it is. Your first Pokemon ever is usually a very memorable thing for you. If you're into Pokemon, as I watched LeRon kind of hide from the Pokemon talk. Pat, I'm going to go your way first.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I chose probably one of the most iconic moments in video game history, and that would be Eris's death in the original Final Fantasy VII.
Definitely iconic.
I mean, that was a moment that hit a lot of people hard because one, you do not see that coming at all. Like she's the character that you build up in your party. She's got an absolutely amazing like backstory of, and even in the brand new version where they build up more of like what she experienced during her childhood, like she is she is basically like the personification of innocence and you know hope all kind of wrapped up in a pink bow. And to see her get run through in the original Final Fantasy was a very tough moment. Especially seeing how the characters react, even though they were like heavily pixelated, there were still various emotions, such as Tifa when she goes and she she kneels down, she kind of like straightens Eris's hair before she like runs away, like in tears. Like there was some very powerful moments for a PS1 game.
Yeah, I imagine people who were really Final Fantasy people, right, during especially the SNES era, moving to PlayStation and seeing something like that play out. I mean, you're used to 16-bit pixel graphics and trying to fill in the blanks with your imagination, and then now you're seeing these cinematics of these characters that you've fallen in love with, and you just see one of them kind of go out like that. It's kind of I there are definitely moments for me like that in games.
That was like that was a hallmark moment for me as well. And I remember I shoot, like it's wild because like how they say, where were you at when this thing happened in the news and stuff like that. I know exactly where I was at when I was playing Final Fantasy 7 and that moment came. I know exactly where I was at. Like it was and it's funny too because I feel like Chrono Trigger kind of should have prepared me for this, because Chrono Trigger is another one,
Mm-hmm.
where you actually lose the hero. You don't lose just a party member. You lose the hero.
Yeah. LeRon, what about you?
You know what? Okay, because I did not play any N64 Zelda games. So when I finally played Legend of Zelda Wind Waker and saw the freaking final blow against Ganondorf for the first time, I was like, "What the hell?" And then my roommate at the time told me, "Oh, there's a history behind this," and he showed me the Nintendo 64 games. I was like, "What the hell?"
Jeez.
Yeah, like I mean, I was not ready for like the downward thrust straight into Ganon's skull in a Zelda game, especially that Zelda game at the time, because that was the most kiddie version of Legend of Zelda we had seen at that point, and it just blew my mind.
I'm surprised you didn't pick anything Mass Effect related, LeRon.
Like what? I mean, I feel
I mean,
like
the opening of Mass Effect 2 is amazing.
I mean, I've got a Mass Effect moment on here, but it's like something happens in all three games.
Fair, but man.
The Mass Effect 2 opening, well, okay, you know what? It did not. Okay, I know why it hit different for you, Corin, as opposed to me. You played Mass Effect as they were released, where I played the trilogy back to back. So like it was
Yeah.
oh man, they destroyed Normandy.
I just
Like
Yeah, I mean, I just remember that whole marketing for Mass Effect 2. It was like the whole marketing was Shepard's helmet floating out in space and like the Normandy on fire crashing into this planet. We had no idea what it was at the time,
yeah,
right? And like
yeah,
we had no idea if we were even going to be playing as Shepard. That was the whole marketing, right? They
yeah,
kept introducing some like new characters and bringing back old characters and like talking about all these things, and they never once talked about Shepard leading up to the game. And it was like, oh my gosh, like, and then they started talking about loyalty missions and, finding, are you really playing as Shepard? Is this a clone? What is, and then they started talking about the elusive man. And, obviously Miranda was a huge part of the marketing because, women in the early 2000s, right? So, mid 2000s, whatever. So yeah, man, Mass Effect 2's marketing
no,
was incredible.
I,
I put it
I,
up there
I
with
get it. I get it from a standpoint of like why it was iconic and stuff like that. I
yeah.
do get it. I do get it.
Yeah, I'd put it up there with Halo 3's marketing, to be honest with you. Halo 3's marketing was awesome too. That whole like they did that docu-series almost, like that fake docu-series where they went through the museum and the dedication to Master Chief, and they had that whole diorama commercial going on, and it's awesome.
I don't remember those, but I do remember the Mass Effect 3 intro, and I thought that was pretty wicked.
Oh, where you like when
The
you're in
Reapers are
the
finally on Earth, and
Mhm.
they're like destroying the cities, and you're trying to escape from,
Yeah, you're in the headquarters in London, New London or whatever.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, that
awesome.
was that was pretty big too. Um,
Man, Mass Effect's so good.
I mean, okay, I mean like a standout moment for me definitely in Mass Effect. And this is not including my entry. Like my entry, when I tell you guys my entry, like the audience listening is just gonna start dying with laughter. But I think one of the most iconic moments for me was Mass Effect 3, Morden Solus.
Yeah, when he's alone in the building and
Yeah.
just typing away, and then you just
Yeah, like
see it.
that was one of those ones that was like a gut punch. I know a
Yeah.
lot of people. I know a lot more people are going to say, "Well, I'll see you, you're Morden Solus, and raise you like Thane Krios and stuff like that." Because Thane was a gut punch, but I think Thane was a gut punch to everyone that was just trying to screw him.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing about Mass Effect though, is like you get attached to certain characters as you play through the games, and everybody gets attached to different characters, right? And
So
there was no
Ashley,
social media to tell you who was why are we all like thirsting over Garrus now? Like, you know what I mean? Like I have zero attachment to Garrus, right? But
I
like
made Miranda cry in Mass Effect 3.
But like, I like Rex and Miranda and Liara, and like I like these characters, and you know who are we talking to who was super attached to Jacob, right? Like it's just there's all kinds of
That was Yari that was attached to Jacob.
yeah, and it was just like there are
I was like, girl, you're a weirdo.
but like we all have our different. That's the beauty about Mass Effect, though, right? Is like you get attached to these characters, and depending on how you play, depends on how attached you are to these characters. And it's like some people are attached to Caden, but like Caden died in the first hour of my playthrough, so like I don't care about him, right?
Wait, the first hour?
Not the first hour, but you know what I mean. Like
that was Jenkins that died in the first hour.
the first game, he dies, and I'm just like, I have zero attachment to this character.
Yeah, that's you, because I was like, Caden's legacy, like he lives.
Yeah, I hated him because he had the same voice actor as Cartho Nassi from Knights of the Old Republic, and I hated Cartho Nassi, so I killed him.
Wow, look at that bias. Look at that bias.
You guys can have your ships, but for me, I was loyal to Tali.
I was just about to mention Tali, but one of the things was like I started going back. I had a save file from Mass Effect 3, so I started going back and seeing what happens when you make some of those bad decisions. And I had to stop with the bad decisions when I saw Tali like throw herself off a cliff. I was like, no, this is too much.
She is innocent.
I was like, this is too much. I was like, we lose we lose Legion, and then Tali like jumps off a cliff anyway. Like, no, that was too much.
I don't trust a being who can't take their helmet off to show me their face.
She did. She would get like literally every disease known to man.
That's not my
She's
problem.
She's seductible.
Couldn't see her. Don't trust her.
Tali was the innocent one, in my opinion. She was so innocent.
I mean, the way she prepared herself just so that she could have intercourse with you later.
Oh, jeez.
Tali was Mass Effect's Aerith.
Sure. Stephanie?
Who's your Mass Effect ship?
I was like, "Ooh, my mind's just being blown right now."
Oh yeah, there's some history.
Some top epic moment for me, or memorable moment, was actually the Last of Us. Towards the end, I don't know if I should say it. I don't know.
Say it. I mean, there's so many iterations of Mass Effect. I'm not Mass Effect. The Last of Us out right now. Like, say it.
It's the part where your main character Joel, makes the decision to kill the doctor and save Ellie instead of letting her be sacrificed to make a vaccine, and then he chooses to lie to her about it. Because I can hear the musical score at the moment where she says, like she asks, like, "Are you telling me the truth?" And you could see in his eyes that he's lying to her, and it's just like, oh gosh, it's such like a human thing to do. So it resonated with me, and it haunts me to this day. So,
jeez. Yeah, that game is something. I guess for me, there's a lot. I know people are tired of hearing about me talk about Destiny, but there are a lot of iconic moments in that game, in that series. I mean, Breath of the Wild, the walkout moment at the beginning.
Oh yeah,
I think that's become Switch's iconic moment. This generation of Nintendo's iconic moment. I would say the opening to God of War 2 is very iconic. I love they totally Metroid you where you're like super powerful and have all your moves and magic and you're fighting this giant, Apollo statue from, it's just
See, I knew some shenanigans were up as soon as like the Athena statue started talking to you. I was like, oh, something fucked up about to happen.
oh man, dude, if that I really hope that Greek saga PS5 remaster is real.
I don't
I'm
see. I think it is real. I don't.
I
I don't
I
see why it wouldn't be.
I
I
do
think it is.
too. I do too. I was listening to a podcast with I know people have their opinions of David Jaffe, but he was on something and he was talking about how he thinks he has heard things that it's probably real. Um, so that'd be really nice because God of War 2 and 3 are like top 25 games of all time games everybody should play. So plus those PSP ones were really good that Ready at Dawn made. Um, let's see what else here. Yeah, there's a ton in Destiny also, like the Oryx raid boss reveal when he climbs up the side of the ship. When the first time you fight him, he's like the size of a large human, and then the raid takes place on his ship, and when you enter his throne room, like he's so big that he climbs up the outside of the ship, and when you kill him, like he floats down into the rings of Saturn, which is super cool. It's a really cool moment. I don't know. I don't need to go anymore. The ending of the final shape has also become a very iconic moment for Destiny fans. Very very powerful moment. So, so many good moments in video games, guys.
Mm-hmm.
What was your guys' first iconic moment? Not to like elongate this conversation, but
First.
I mentioned it earlier. It was definitely Chrono Trigger, like the death of Chrono.
mm,
Like at that point I hadn't seen anything like that before. And I mean, like and I'm the person that, like I was like, whoa, like Samus was a woman, like
mhm.
I was from that generation,
Yeah.
I can't recall which one came first because I know I got these games later, so time release doesn't work with me. It was either choosing my first Pokemon in Pokemon Red or it was defeating Ganondorf in Ocarina of Time. I just can't recall which came first.
Um, it was probably, I guess it depends on when you got Ocarina. So,
Exactly. I got Ocarina kind of more on the later side, so maybe it was Pokemon. I don't know.
um, yeah, I guess for me, like, I always like when I was younger, I really liked games a lot, but I only knew like Mario and Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers and whatever was on sale that I ended up getting and not liking. Um, but I would say the first really iconic moment was uh when you popped in Super Mario 64 for the first time and the
Um,
camera just kind of pans around the courtyard of Peach's castle, right? And I'm sure a lot of people had this on PlayStation earlier, right? I wasn't a PlayStation person and I didn't have any siblings or friends or cousins that like were into games. So, except, I had that one friend that got every single game, but like, we were never allowed to like play any of the games. We always had to play something weird. Um, so like watching the camera kind of pan around the courtyard and then Mario kind of pop out of the warp pipe for the first time and you kind of learning how to use that awful controller and realizing that controller was literally made for Mario 64 and that was it.
Yeah.
uh I guess they kind of formed Zelda around it too, but like yeah, that Mario 64, that whole like opening sequence too, and you hop into the painting for the first time and run up and literally the first star you get is a boss fight with King Babam, right? And it's just super cool. That whole opening of Mario 64 was super cool. And I'm not even a 3D Mario guy, but um I actually think Mario 64 is the reason why it's so hard for me to go back to 2D games a lot of the time, to be honest. Because it like changed everything for me about games. So Uh, anybody else have any comments on this before we move along? Move along.
It was a great article.
Yeah, it was a good read.
All right, so circling back to my one because I promised everybody on the recording I'd say something. The Mass Effect series, just punching the reporter every
Oh my god,
single game,
that was
every
so funny.
single game.
I remember. Oh my gosh, I remember. Like. So my first playthrough of Mass Effect, I played through. I was all Paragon through the
So you
entire
so
way.
you didn't touch her
Well,
the
no,
first time.
no, here's the thing, I didn't know you could do that until my friend was always the bad guy. Like, in Knights of the Old Republic, he was the Sith Lord. Mass Effect, he was the bad guy. Dragon Age, he played as made the bad decisions or whatever. So, he's playing the first game, and I'm sitting there watching him, and I don't remember what I was playing. I think I was probably playing something like Final Fantasy or something, Final Fantasy X, I think I was playing. I was going backwards. Uh, but he, like, got to that part and he was talking. I was like, I'd stopped playing what I was playing, and I had never seen the bad playthrough of Mass Effect.
Mhm.
And I was intrigued by his decisions. And I watched him punch the reporter. I'm like, what are you doing? You can do that? He's like, yeah. He's like, what? She was a bitch. I'm like,
Mhm.
I think you're the bad guy in this situation, and she's trying to do her job. Good times. Mass Effect, man. What a great series.
Yeah.
I can't wait for whatever the next one is. Very excited. If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network. All right, let's move into what we've been playing. We've all been playing games, I think, a little bit, mostly.
Couple
Stephanie,
here.
I'm gonna go your way. You seem bouncy and ready to talk for some reason.
Because I haven't been playing too much. I've been very busy. It was my birthday weekend, so I was trying to, go out and be a social human being. So I really haven't touched much. The only thing I could say that I played was my Pokemon trading card game Pocket because it's in my phone, so it makes
Okay,
things
you're gonna
easier.
have to tell me about this game.
Yeah, I mean, you can open up booster packs, virtual booster packs twice a day. If there's always like little collectible things that you get over time, and if you have enough of them, you can open extra packs. Once you hit level 3, you can actually play the card game itself, either against a computer, CPU, or against people online. Instead of a 60 card deck, you use 20 cards. So, on one hand, it makes things simpler and easier. But, if you're trying to be strategic, it can be hard to pick a perfect deck out of only 20 cards. It does have an auto build capability. So, the computer will just build your deck for you, or you can rent the decks out for free. And yeah, it's pretty fun. And, if you're not familiar with the actual trading card game, the app gives you a very reasonably it handholds you through how to play it. So it can be kind of addicting. I can hop in, play against a random opponent or a computer, and then get that little dopamine hit that I beat someone. And then you win like random prizes, and you utilize the prizes to open more packs and see if you get like a alt alt art rare or full art rare. So it's cool.
All right, I think you sold me.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
see a
nice.
lot of people opening packs and posting them on various social media platforms. It's very
All
interesting.
right. Woo. I'll send you my friend code.
Awesome.
Um, it's definitely helping me save money on buying real cards. Surging Sparks just came out, and I only bought one Elite Trainer box. Only one. I usually buy a lot more. My son opened a pack and he got like the full alt art Pikachu. That one card alone is like currently sitting at around like 25, $26 just for the one card, which is not bad. And then it's not a game, but it is a show So I'm just going to talk about it because it's game adjacent because of who stars in it. I watched The Edge of Sleep, which is available to Amazon Prime members. One season, only 6 episodes, 20 minutes long, so it's very short. It features Markiplier. So anyone who plays video games and watches Let's Plays know who Markiplier is. And I think he's also an executive producer. The story Edge of Sleep originated from a podcast and became novelized as well. It is a psychological thriller where people are dying in their sleep. As soon as you fall asleep and enter a dream state, you pass away. And Markiplier's character, Dave Torres, he's trying to figure out what it is. Is it a virus? It is a whatever.
Is it Freddy
Um,
Krueger? It's Freddy Krueger,
right.
isn't it?
The only there but there's no, like, sign of, like, them, like, death, like, there's no mark, except for this one scene where they're working with a nurse, so they decided to, like, study the brain, so they cut the scalp open, and they see, like, this burn mark of a triangle on the head, so it starts going to a really weird place, like, is this, like, a culty thing, supernatural thing? Markiplier's character, he grew up with night terrors and parasomnia, and there's like a lot of hints to pharmaceuticals. So it's very it's interesting. It's a blend of like science fiction and fantasy. It took a twist at the end where, so long as it's successful, it definitely will set up for a second season. But for something with that much story to it, I think the 6 episodes, 20 minutes is too short for it. I'm not saying that I need 20 episodes, an hour and a half each, but I think that, we could have spent a little bit more time in the universe. So because it's gaming adjacent due to Markiplier, I figured I'd at least share it here. So if you
Nice.
like psychological thrillers, if you like um it's well shot, well written, uh and you like Markiplier, I'd say go check it out.
Stephanie, do you like Markiplier?
I do, I watch his Let's Plays.
I knew where Corey was going for. Like, I like Markiplier.
What do you
Oh, in
mean?
that sense? I mean, yeah,
N
he's
n
pretty good
That's
looking.
not
I
what I
mean,
was going for. I was
Oh,
he's
that's
half like, that's another like, when I say
yeah. He's
attraction,
a yeah.
I don't
He's half Korean, right?
he's half Korean. I'm
Yeah.
half Asian, so, like, when I, see a half Asian person, I automatically get so excited. I'm like, "Ooh, there's another one of me out there," and he's, like, around my age, so I'm like, "Oh my gosh, you're living the life that I was not allowed to live," so go Markiplier.
Yeah, his mom is super supportive of
Right?
everything he does in
I'm
like
like,
in
"What the
like
heck?"
the in like the in like the space.
Yeah, so I'm living vicariously through him. That's part of the reason why I like him. And I just generally like the way he is on his videos because he's very positive. He never really trashes and trash talks and belittles people. Even if it's a game that's not so great, he tries to find a constructive way to put it. So I appreciate
Mhm.
kind of like the role modelness that he is. And
Yeah,
he's
I
entertaining.
agree with that too. He's absolutely like, for as long as he's been around, being an influencer, he has not gone like the far right left route that a lot of these tend to go.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's he seems like there's a lot of people that I've followed over the years that I've just kind of fallen off because they get either really angry or annoying online. Like there's I'm not gonna name any names because I do still like some of them, and some of them I'm currently friendly with. But some people are just like, you know, when somebody says one thing online, they have to comment on it, or
Yeah.
it's just like, come on, you don't have to comment on everything, right? And I know like Twitter incentivizes engagement, and that's anger is the greatest uh welcomer of engagement, right? But like, come on, I don't know, man. And just you're out there supposed to be like this positive, entertaining person, and you're
Yeah.
just doing this instead.
Yeah, so even though obviously I don't know him in person, but just based on the type of videos he puts out, what he says within the videos, I believe he's a good role model. He is still entertaining. and he kind of stays in his lane, so to speak, as far as like not going out and preaching or it's just overall
Mhm.
a wholesome, good content creator, really
Yeah.
funny. And so I decided to check it out to see how good his acting actually is, and he actually does a pretty good job. I was impressed. I don't know what I was expecting because he's not, an actor by nature, so that's why I was very curious. So
Mhm.
cinematography is very interesting. The art, art direction sound like it's all good. Like I said, my only gripe, quote unquote, so to speak, is for the level of storytelling and the mystery that it has, I just feel like 6 episodes, 20 minutes is not enough. So
Yeah.
there you go. Haven't been playing much, but at least watched something.
All right, we're talking about what we were playing. Yeah, that's cool. Markiplier is his longevity too is super
Yeah.
impressive. You know,
Hmm.
um, LeRon, are you playing anything? Anything interesting, fun?
Yeah, Mario Luigi Brothership.
Yeah, how's that going?
Ooh.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, like it's like like this is one of those palate cleanser games that I talk about from time to time. I just need something different right now. I'm pretty sure Andre and Matt are pissed at me because I'm not playing Monster Hunter right now. But like I kind of needed this. Like I actually spent the entire weekend playing Mario and Luigi.
Very
Nice.
nice.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can't say for sure my Switch is out in the living room. I want to say I'm probably 20 hours in
Damn.
overall gameplay. Yeah, like, no, what
That
I
means you're in
tried.
like the third or fourth C, right?
Okay, okay, I'm not gonna go that damn far. Okay, I'm definitely in, I guess, what we call the third act. I know that for
Okay.
sure.
I,
Yeah,
I would consider once you
well,
pass, like after you
I've
beat a
lit
lighthouse,
I've
you
lit one. I've lit the first great lighthouse. I've lit the first one, and I'm halfway to a second one.
you didn't get the second one yet?
N- no, no.
Oh, you have more hours than me. I already have the second
Well,
one.
yeah. Well, I'm just replaying. Well, number one, I'm replaying worlds, like to find all the little whatchamacallit things, the sprites that are in the walls. You pop those things out and then you chase them halfway around the community and stuff like that. I'm doing that. Plus, I'm also basically like just 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 whoring, trying to get like as much gold and stuff so I can like buy new items as soon as they're available to me and all that stuff. So I'm basically doing a lot of back and forth, just doing things. But yeah,
How
yeah,
do you feel the amount that you've played in this, and whoever's played Brothership can also say like how much do you agree or disagree with IGN's middling review of it?
I didn't even
Disagree.
pay. I didn't even pay attention to IGN's review, but when I heard that they gave it a 5 out of 10, I was like, yeah, they're on some bullshit because I don't know. For a moment there, the game did kind of throw me off for a moment there because like it seemed like I was burning through the game. It felt like it, because I was like, man, I'm just going world after world after world. What's happening here? I feel like I will have the game beat by Monday. And then, like all of a sudden, like a story element opens up and I'm like, oh, okay, this game's gonna be a little involved. And Corey, you and I talked on the phone about it. And you're like, yeah, like I'm anticipating a 30-hour game. And I'm like, I agree with you.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
it's I would say it's definitely the easiest of the Mario and Luigi games for
It
sure.
is it is the easiest in Mario and Luigi games, but what's kind of cool about this is that this is the most RPG-ish of like the Mario and Luigi games, in my opinion.
There's a bit of customization you can get, especially
Yeah.
when they introduce the plugs.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah. No, I'm having a blast. If I were to give, based off of where I'm playing right now, if I were to give it a solid rating, I'd say 8 out of 10.
I was just gonna say, I know like people were really mad about this review for some reason. It's somebody's opinion. Play it for yourself to form your own opinion. But the Mario and Luigi games have always been all over the place in terms of review scores. Especially like Bowser's Inside Story was like a 9, but then you go what Luigi's Dream Team and Paper's Jam, like those games were in like the 6s, and so like these games have always been all over the place, and people have always had problems with them and the Paper Mario games for not being Super Mario RPG. right? And so these types of games, that you have to form your opinion to yourself. And I know people are kind of mad about the controls, right? About the brother swapping buttons or whatever. Like you have to press A to select an attack before you press B for Luigi or whatever. But it's like
Yeah, that kind of burns me up in my opinion, because I was like, like I didn't play. What was the what
it,
was the most recent Mario and Luigi game before this
Paper
one?
Jam.
was it
I
Paper
did.
Jam?
I didn't play Paper Jam, so I was like, okay, did something change? By the time I got to this, but that was a little weird, about the whole thing. And also, like I will say this, like a modern game, we're playing on controllers and stuff that have a right and a left thumbstick. Why the hell can't I control the camera?
Mm.
Yeah. I mean,
That's an actual bona fide gripe that I have.
yeah, I guess I don't have those complaints as much because we all played Paper Mario this year already, and it's kind of very similar in a way, like the movement and the
Mm.
staging and the combat is kind of similar enough to where that the button stuff doesn't bother me. And I don't know. I don't think that stuff I I don't think it bothers me as much as somebody who complained an awful lot about controls last week about Monster Hunter.
Yeah, I know. What's
I
wrong with you? You're a
this
weirdo.
I know. I'm an awful human being. I'm fired. I'm a terrible gamer.
This is what happens when the only game you really invest in time is playing Destiny.
I haven't touched Destiny in about 3 weeks, sir.
Oh, whatever.
There's nothing to do. I'm not playing Festival of the Cost. That's what we call it because everything costs money during the
Oh.
Halloween season. So you want that witch costume? It's $30. You want your event card? That's $15. Chop chop. You want this cool ghost? $10. Not doing it. Nope. Nope. Spooky grandma's not getting cookies from me. I'm telling you that. Destiny joke. Everybody, all the Guardians out there will get it. Is that it, LeRon? Is that all you're playing?
I mean, besides Tekken 8, like I didn't play any Monster Hunter at all last week.
What?
After the Monster Hunter Wilds beta was taken from our grasp and stuff like that. Like I haven't gotten back into it yet. I promised Andre I was going to help him fight a monster that he's been itching to fight, but we haven't linked up yet.
I see. I guess I'll go next because mine's real short, and then Pat will round out the show with you as always. I played a little bit of Mario and Luigi Brothership. I have to say it looks much better in handheld mode than it does on the TV. I don't know if that's because it's the OLED Switch that I'm playing on or what, but like that art style has just not done anything for me until I turn it on the OLED. And it still bothers me a little bit, but that's a me thing. I know a lot of people really like the art style of this game. But the game I've been spending a lot of time in actually is by the time this comes out, it will be out. So Tetris Forever, the compilation of all the old Tetris and Tetris adjacent games, just kind of like a history of Tetris package similar to that Atari 50 that came out earlier this year, and what that first console war DLC that just came out, and this is kind of that for Tetris. It's very interesting. It's very cool. There are better ways to play Tetris, I will say that. But if you love Tetris like I do, this is a really interesting history lesson, including they rebuilt from the ground up the very first Tetris game that was built on the old Soviet computers, Electronica something. I forget what they're called, but yeah, they rebuilt it from the ground up to play just like that and look like that, and it's really cool. It's really neat. All right, Pat,
All right.
you can talk now.
Well, like you all, I've been playing Mario and Luigi Brothership, and I am really enjoying the game. I can see a little bit of the repetitiveness coming through, but one of the things I like is that each island is different. Is like a little different setting with a little like mini story and characters all of its own. So in a sense, it's almost like Mario and Luigi, but it's also mixed up with like a Mario game
Mhm.
in that sense. The combat, of course, is like really simple. I think they give you plenty of opportunity to hit the correct button prompts, like with the timing. Like some of those like button prompts, you usually feel like you have to hit it like perfectly and able to get the score, and I don't think that's the case in this one. Like it gives you plenty of error.
Mm.
Um, what else can I say about this game? Um, I understand that some people are a little pissed off that you can't really control Luigi, but honestly, I think like if you just allowed the game to be itself rather than trying to compare it to the past Mario and Luigi games, I think it works out just fine. Like I feel like having the ability to control Luigi in this one would almost make the game a little harder. Just because you got more freedom in the movement than you did in some of the other Mario and Luigi games.
Wait, what's the big gripe? Because I feel like there's still plenty of things you do with Luigi, separately.
Well, before
Like
now, Luigi jumps automatically when you like move forward and stuff. Before in the old games, you had to push the jump button designated for Luigi to make him follow you.
as much as I love like the Mario and Luigi series, that was a gripe of mine that I had.
Hmm. Yeah, but no, I
like
feel.
like I love those games, but I couldn't stand the fact that you had to basically had to like left brain right brain yourself to like,
Hmm.
to like play the game.
Yeah, and I think some people are mad about that, but honestly, I think they give Luigi plenty in this game. I mean, you get something called Luigi logic in this, and it's like absolutely hilarious
I
because
love that. Even though I feel to a certain part it like slows the game down for like a split second, but I
Mhm.
love that.
Oh yeah, no, I love how every animation is always something different too. Like when he comes up with a eureka moment,
Yeah.
and also the fact that the explanation point's like a little L.
Yeah, you right, yeah. Yeah. I will say this like there's a lot of humor in this. I feel like there's more humor in this than there has been in Paper Mario for a long time.
Hmm. Oh yeah, and Luigi is like front and center for that humor. Like
Yeah.
he is clearly the personality
No,
of
no, no.
this
I'm
game.
starting to I'm really starting to come around this whole thing of Luigi being the cooler Mario brother. Like
Yes,
I mean, I'm
Mhm.
I'm starting to come around.
clearly
Uh,
superior. Just saying.
I love every time when you land on a new island, Mario like gets his perfect landing, and then
I know.
something happens to Luigi.
I think Luigi's just relatable. I think that's why everybody loves
Oh,
him because,
oh,
like,
is it me or does like even though it's not as exaggerated as it has been in previous like the Mario games, is it me or does Luigi still have the better jump than Mario?
Yeah,
mm,
I
I
think he's still the jumper.
Yeah, I feel like he still has the better jump because when you have that moment to evade like attacks and stuff like that, if he has a jump command, it seems like his jump is just a little bit it's stronger, but also it puts him in the air a little bit higher, so the timing gets a little off.
I do think his jump is a little higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
What else can I say about Luigi? I mean,
oh, I,
I
I love
love.
his personality when you level up. I love his personality because like,
Yes, the
like
dance.
he's just like chilling. Where Mario is just like standing there.
Yeah, Luigi's like doing like a
There's a
shuffle dance, but he has like
yeah,
one leg sticking out. And
yeah.
what's funny is when he turns in one direction, he then gets like this like seductive look in
Like
his
like like
eye,
the half eyes
the half
closed,
eye,
the eyes
like
half.
hey. And then when Mario levels up, you see Luigi with like bent forward, like over exaggerated.
Yes, yeah. Oh my god, it's a cute game. That's why I call it my palate cleanser right now. Like I'm
Hmm.
enjoying it. Like I'm probably gonna stick with it for a good while.
Yeah, no. And honestly, the story is pretty good too.
Honest,
Like it's got a the theme of connections, and
yeah.
like it's it's a well told story so far.
Honestly, 2024 has been a good year for Mario because, man, Mario Wonder, I didn't think I was going to like Mario Wonder as much as I'd liked it.
Mm-hmm. And now Mario and Luigi Brothership.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about Mario Wonder. I bought a Joy-Con with the D-pad just to play it because I had the itch to play it the other day, and then so I bought it. Like the Zelda Joy-Con was on sale for like $17, like the Hori one with the real D-pad. So I bought it specifically to play these 2D platformers, and I just haven't played it because I suck at life. So I don't have time to play.
Yeah, I gotta go back. I gotta go back to Mario Wonder.
Yeah.
Kind of want to go back to Mario Wonder.
My boyfriend was playing the fuck out of it. I feel like I was cheating by watching him play it.
All right. This was the next game I wanted to talk about was something I kind of wanted to talk about last time, but we definitely ran out of time. I have been playing Life is Strange Double Exposure, especially for the book club because that is our book club of the month this week or this month. And it's in my opinion so far it's been pretty good. It's not reaching the same level as the original Life is Strange did, but it's nice to go back to Max and continue on with her story. And I know a lot of people complained about how they handled the situation of making both endings canon, and depending on your choices, how the Max's story goes on. In my opinion, I chose well, the ending in Life is Strange boils down to one of two decisions, and I'm going to spoil it because it is an old game. In the end, you either choose to sacrifice Chloe or the town, and I chose to sacrifice Chloe in order to save the town. And in my opinion, I think that helps make this story better because my Max is going through trauma still of losing her best friend. And so now she has another friend who gets killed, and she's trying to figure out like, or she's kind of going back through her emotions, like, well, maybe I can stop this, maybe I can reuse my powers. And when she does, she finds out her powers aren't quite the same anymore. Now she has the ability to open up a parallel dimension where her best friend actually is still alive. And so she's trying to, use the information between those two dimensions, one where she's dead, one where she's alive, and tries to come up with the answer of like what happened to her friend, like who killed her. It's been a very good story. Max is awesome. She's got a sass to her, and she's definitely a dork, but she's very relatable as a character, and it's awesome to be able to see that again. I am 3 out of 5 chapters so far, but I have enjoyed what I have played. Again, not quite at the same emotional level as Life is Strange, but it's not a horrible story. It's still very intriguing, and there's still plenty of twists that make you wonder what's going to happen by the end of this. So,
I've heard that game is pretty split. I saw some stuff online where people either like really love this game. Somebody I was talking to earlier said that they were just really lost in this game and loved every second of it. And then there are other people on it that's like, this isn't my Life is Strange. And I'm just like,
I think it comes down to the decision whether or not you chose to sacrifice Chloe or the town. Because if you chose to sacrifice the town, you find out that Chloe and Max just broke up and stopped talking to each other. And I think that pissed off a lot of people. Because, shipping is very huge in the video game world. And if you're against someone's ship, then you're clearly against the whole video game community.
well, I mean, yeah, I guess if you're invested in stuff like that, Yeah. I mean, I can totally see it, right? So
Mhm.
I can see both sides, I guess. I guess it just depends on how invested you are and which characters you're invested in. It's
Yeah.
it's the Mass Effect conversation again, a little bit, I think.
Mhm.
So, I think this is going to be an interesting book club for sure.
Yep. We got Shane joining us on this one, so
Good.
Yeah.
yep. Maybe we'll
Cool.
have a fourth. I don't know. I've had a few inquiries in it and a few dropouts, but we'll see by next week.
Yeah, just drop a ask in the Discord. I'm sure somebody in our Discord is playing it.
Taylor thinks she has someone, but so I'm gonna wait for her response.
Mm-hmm.
If not, then yeah, I'll put a feeler out there. I know there's still a couple other people who've been playing this game, so.
Mm-hmm. Well, guys, I think we did it. Look at that.
Yes, sir.
It's
Yeah.
early. Wow. I don't know. I just got excited. Anyways, this was fun. This was a good episode. Good
Mhm.
comeback episode.
Yeah.
Proud of you guys.
We'll miss you next week, Corey. I don't know where
Yep.
you'll be. Wink,
Nah,
wink,
I don't know
nudge,
where I'll be
nudge.
either.
Yeah, no.
We're
Lame-o.
glad you're taking a break.
Yeah.
Lame-o. Nah, he's not taking a break. He has to work.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
a work thing. And but maybe I'll see one of my friends. So we'll see.
maybe you'll go to bed at a good time.
Maybe I'll get to sleep. Period. That'd
There
be cool.
you go.
What's that like? No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, I want to thank everybody out there for watching and or listening to this episode of the Boss Rush Podcast. You can check us out every Monday on your podcast service of choice. You can get our pre-show and other perks on our Patreon, patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. Very excited about some of the things there as well. Check out our other shows, including Nintendo Pow Block and Boss Rush Plus, which includes interviews and book clubs and all kinds of other stuff. LeRon, Stephanie, Pat, thank you for your time tonight as well, as always. And thank you everybody out there for watching and or listening. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.